it's insane what's actually going on, right? And when I said, like, I don't know, it's sort of weird that Pennsylvania managed to elect a vegetable, they criticized me as being ableist. I didn't know what that was, but there's always an ist, right? There's always an ist, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about. And apparently an ableist is someone who discriminates against those with disabilities. I said, well, I'm not discriminating against an ableist. I'd love for John Fetterman to have, like, good gainful employment. Maybe he could be, like, a bag guy at, like, a grocery store but, like, is it unreasonable for me to expect, as a citizen of the United States of America, to have a United States senator have basic cognitive function? Like, well, you make a solid point, sir. Why should a United States senator be held to a different standard than the President of the United States himself? So we have to fix all of that. Right? But again, we can't fix it until we play the game their way. The other way we have to start doing that, folks, is we have to start voting with our wallets. Okay? The number one thing that we can do to make sure that our values exist into the future is fueling the patriot economy. Just this week, I mean, this wasn't even going to be my speech until yesterday. I started a news app with my friend Taylor Butterwich because I got sick of, perhaps me because I'm so immersed in this stuff. I knew about the Hunter Biden story, but no one else did. It was in the New York Post, which is like the second oldest newspaper in America, but big tech made sure no one else ever saw that article. We now know that like 17% of Democrats wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden had they heard of this. So under the auspices of build your own, right? We've been always told build your own. Now we try to build our own and then Amazon Web Services throws you off. Or Apple won't let you on the App Store. Or Google does the same. They say build your own, but they don't really mean it, right? They're not like, oh, you just do it your own. Like, we're going to put up every roadblock possible to make that happen. But we took the advice and we built our own. We created an app that simply aggregates news, MXM news, like minute by minute. We take articles from the left, articles from the right. I mean, I looked yesterday. We had stuff from like Mediaite on there, like not exactly what we'd call conservative material. And Taylor, while operating the business, goes to check our account balance and finds out that we have zero in our operating account. There was about $750,000 in there the day before. Calls the bank, he calls me, he's like, we have a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Like, that's not good. Calls the bank, finds out, you'll get a cashier's check in a day or two. What? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, we closed out your account. I was like, wait, PNC Bank. Okay, yeah. Like, this isn't like, and by the way, it's not like we're creating news. Like if I was talking about the Wuhan lab leak story as the most obvious thing in the world for the last 2 years, which I've been doing, like, I'm not even creating that. But because I'll show you the New York Times alongside a Breitbart and let you make up your own mind, that still to them is apparently an offense. Think about that. PNC Bank, a major national bank, but we've seen it all, right? I had Chase cancel something to do credit card processing, I think it was, for something I was speaking, because I was speaking at an evangelical event. Now, we understand based on the testimony of Chris Wray the other day that apparently, like, practicing Catholics are domestic terrorists. Just like concerned mothers not wanting their children to be indoctrinated with critical race theory, not wanting their children to be pressured into permanent, life-altering sex change surgeries by their rainbow-haired teacher without parental involvement or consent. Those aren't people to worry about, but practicing Catholics, concerned mothers, those are the real threats, Remember the guys that always commit the crimes? Like, yeah, they were on our radar. Yeah, they were on your radar, but you were too busy monitoring someone's grandmother who was within 500 miles of January 6th in D.C. Not doing their actual job, but this is the FBI. You'd think, no way. They're above reproach, but the FBI is doing it. We've seen the DOJ. We've seen the treatment of the January 6th prisoners. We're now watching our banks do this to us. Guys, we got to fight back. I've said it on this probably stage last year. It's like, they could take out the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States, like they did to my father. Because if you have one guy going out there by himself, all the slings, all the arrows can be put on that person. They cannot do it to us if there's 175 million Americans willing to stand up for themselves, for decency, for our values. I mean, think about what we're up against. A major U.S. bank was able to cancel, and just canceled, our ability to do banking. We didn't even get a call. It was like getting broken up with by text. Like, no reason. It didn't matter what, hey, you're letting people, it wasn't, again, we're not even creating news. We're aggregating it. Check out MXM. You'll actually see both sides of the story, and you can formulate your opinion. And I'm so confident that we're right on our side that I'm willing to actually let you see the leftist viewpoint, because you will realize that they are insane. Why aren't they willing to show our side? Because they too realize that they're insane. Right? So what we have to do is we have to be involved in this. It's sort of amazing. I think Michael Seifert's here somewhere from Public Square. Another one. Great guys. San Diego-based company. He was sitting there at home. He was sick of going to a coffee shop that was taking his hard-earned dollars and giving it to leftist radical causes that would throw any one of us in the gulags, with or without cost, right? They would do it just because of what we believe. So he created a list of the conservative companies that shared his values, turned it into a website, and now Public Square has gone national. They're actually going public. But we have an obligation, if we want to exist, to support those kind of businesses. You're going to search it anyway, right? You're going to go on Google and find out what's the restaurant. I did it last night. Okay? I had a table of 20. I called at 8 o'clock, say, hey, we need a reservation. We got on Public Square. We found a restaurant that signed up because I know I could go there and not get booed, even in D.C. I won't mention the restaurant because they'll probably get canceled if I do, but it was sort of nice for me. We walk in, we're with Carrie Lake, and we're with Matt Gaetz and Nigel Farage. Like, it was a pretty conservative crew. That would have had a hard time probably eating in D.C. without getting yelled at. Now, I do well with that, but it's fine. But sometimes you want to just avoid it. And so we were able to find that. We have an obligation to get out there and support those kind of businesses. Because again, once we show the other side that there is pain in their wallets, I have to say that because someone will aggregate that and say that I was advocating for violence. No, but they can cancel us at any second. I mean, imagine being a guy at a bank being like, you know what, I'm just going to cancel Don Jr.'s news app. What could happen? And I have a platform of like 10 million people on Twitter, millions on Truth, millions on Facebook and Instagram. Like, I have the ability to fight back. And I did, and I put it out there, I put a tweet, and we had some pretty powerful people jump in on this, like the Speaker of the House. I would not have wanted to be PNC's bank's comms guy last night. That was probably a long evening. But again, they probably knew at least some of that was capable, and they still don't care. Right? This morning, right as I was getting on stage, it was a mistake. Upon further review, bullshit. Okay? It wasn't a mistake. Okay? Have you ever noticed the mistakes only go one way? So go check out Public Square. Check out MXM. Support those businesses that support your values. Put their kids through soccer camp and soccer practice rather than funding, 10-month abortions. Some of the insanity that we see on the other side. Again, you have a choice. Exercise it. But the other side is, they're willing to do it. They don't even care anymore. Look at this. Another perfect example. Glenn Story right here from Patriot Mobile. I promise you, folks, raise your hand if you don't have a phone. Well, I got to keep my phone away because I know, I'm on every FBI list imaginable, so I just got to keep it away because, they're going to drone me one day. You all have a phone. You all are going to use it. Well, you can give your money to AT&T, who has, in the last month, tried canceling Newsmax, who the month prior to that took off OAN out of millions of homes. The parent company is actively attacking conservative mindset. Again, nothing extreme. It's Newsmax and OAN. It's just the stuff that we all believe. That's extreme. We can't let them even have an opinion. We can't let them have a voice. So if you're going to have a phone, you can give your money to AT&T and watch it get weaponized against everything that you believe, or you can go to Patriot Mobile. Like, it's that simple. But we have to start thinking this way, folks, because if we don't, it's over. It's not